And we're back again for COVID Cabal. COVID Cabal back again. Back again. COVID Cabal back again. COVID Cabal back again with the COVID Cabal. We're back again with the COVID Cabal. Are we back again? We're back again with the COVID Cabal. Drop a comment in the chat when you are online. Drop a comment in the chat so I know you're here. So I know you're there, and so I can send some love. We're back again with the COVID Cabal. Back again. Yeah, I'm thinking we're back. I'm thinking we're back again. COVID Cabal, back again. What is up, my people? What is up, my people? What is going on? What's the word? Let's get to that magic number. Magic number. Well, Jeff, thank you for not being here. Thank you for the apparition. What is up, my peeps? What is up, my peeps? We're back again on the COVID Cabal. Another big show. Another big show tonight. So much going on. So much going on. I mean, there is so much going on that it's hard to even keep track of. I know I'm going to forget some stuff here. I'm going to forget some stuff. You guys are going to have to remind me in the chats. Haven't been writing it down. Just too much. Too much happening. Too much happening. But look, let's dive in. We got the magic 20. So the writing's on the wall, as they like to say. The writing is on the wall. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's hard to deny. My shirt's inside out. I think it's I took off. I was trying on some Christmas pajamas, and so I took off my shirt. And when I put it back on, of course, classic Pat Stedman move. It's inside out. So more is going on right now than I think was going on since the election, no doubt. No doubt since the election. In some ways, it feels like there's even more suspense. Even in my imaginary presence, I have more working brain cells than Brandon. Well, look, I think this is an opportunity to talk a little bit about that, because it's fairly obvious at this point that they're going to pull a 25th on him. We were talking about this before, but if you're seeing how this is being presented more and more and more, how they're building up to it, you had him talking to a dead congresswoman, and now the FBI is saying that they have enough information to arrest Hunter Biden, and it's going to be on like tax charges. So let's use our brains here, because with the COVID Cabal crew, we read between the lines. We actually think about this kind of stuff. He is Hunter Biden now, at this moment, before the midterms, the FBI is going to arrest Hunter Biden now, before the midterms. Does anybody actually think for a second that this is not done for a reason? Why, their own team is doing this to Hunter now at this moment. So it's going to be used as a pretense for a scandal for Biden, and then they throw in all sorts of concerns about his competence, about his mental health, and they use it as a way to get rid of him. I can tell you, and Bob, hey, how are you doing? It's good to see you in the chat, Bob. There is no way that they arrest Hunter Biden unless they're trying to take down Biden himself. This is all from the inside. And anybody with a brain should be able to see it. They're setting it up. They're setting it up to happen. And I wonder if they're going to go after Harris too, because they had her go to the DMV line in North Korea, South Korea border, and then make a speech to the South Korean audience that North Korea was America's greatest ally. They're going to take them both out at the same time. Um, Enjoy the show, as they say. Enjoy the show. It's well, Jeff, what's going to happen is that if they get their way, he's going to get arrested. It'll be a big scandal, but then he's not going to really be put in prison. He's going to get some, commutation or something. Or maybe Biden will pardon him. Biden pardons him, and then that's considered to be nepotism, and that's the justification they use to take Biden out. Yeah, well, there's this big push for Newsom, and now you see Newsom with his ass backwards tweet about the oil companies, right? I mean, I don't even want to address it because it's really tiring. Don't you guys get tired of listening to the lies? I mean, it's not even like I can't get outraged about it anymore. I'm just bored of it. It's like when you hear a pathological liar lie over and over again, at a certain point, you're not like upset that they're lying. You're not like, can you believe what he said? Yeah, of course I can fucking believe what he said. Of course I can believe that he said that. Because he lies pathologically. I mean, what is astounding for me is the normies. And you look at the normies and you see that there are people who literally still believe any of this shit. Still believe that any of it is even remotely real. That any of these people are remotely like acting in your best interest, that they're not just saying total fucking nonsense. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. So we can see the 25th being set up. Um, when this is exactly going to get played out, I don't know. It's coming soon. Let's talk a little bit about economics before we get into the big geopolitical stuff. So we had this call on the margin call on Credit Suisse, which seems to have been averted for the moment. If you go into, thank you, Romeo. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, gents. Um, if you go into, I am actually a little stressed right now. I got some speeches for 21Con I got to get together, and I do a good job with speeches. I'm pretty good at it, but I do put work in ahead of time. I admit to getting stressed about it. I admit to get stressed about preparation. Because I take it seriously. Like, if I was just doing it in a room, I'd wing it. But you got video cameras, it's gonna go on YouTube. I'm like, I gotta really organize my mind. I gotta think about it. Yeah, well, Burt Reynolds. I mean, it's true. People are they're just kind of sucked into it. Like I was speaking to someone the other day, and um, we were talking about Britain. Um, and he doesn't like the conservatives, which is fine. I mean, the conservative government in Britain's retarded, so I'm not objecting to that observation. But then he's like, really pro labor, and I'm like, well, what difference is it going to make? They have literally identical policy positions. And the response was like, well, in Britain there's less, polarity between the positions. So I was like, okay, well, so what's the point? Like, the conservatives go, and then you get labor, and they continue the exact same policies that have Britain in the shitter. So why is one good and one bad? I mean, there is this just phenomenon. I'm not trying to single this individual out. There's just this phenomenon of people who they're unable to think critically about stuff. They're unable to, when something's presented to them, they just automatically take it at face value. And look, everybody's guilty a little bit of this to some degree. I mean, how many times have we made some mistakes trusting a source, believing some news. But, in our defense, we've mostly held it lightly. We may have brought attention to it. Maybe we brought more attention to it than we should have, but we kept this open mind. And then sometimes we were wrong. But the other people, it's just, what remains of this normie mass just doesn't seem to understand that things are going wrong. All this said, people are waking up. They are waking up. And the variable really seems to be whether or not they watch the news. If you listen to the news regularly, you are caught up in that information matrix. But the people who stop listening to the news all seem to have been waking up from the slumber and being like, yeah, this is all bullshit. So the Credit Suisse situation, from Tom Luongo's understanding of it, he's looking at this through the lens of the it's a very interesting argument by Tom, and I don't think I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I mentioned this in the last show. Like, Tom does a fantastic job of understanding the factions, but I do think we want to be a little careful about overly analyzing things. But from Tom's assessment, Truss's government, Liz Truss, is more aligned with, let's say, the neocon faction than Rishi Sunak, who was the other possibility, was more with Davos. Certainly the Labour Party is more with Davos. And that Truss maybe even was being pulled towards some of the sovereigntist positions from the Federal Reserve. And what she was talking about with this had to do with the Bank of England, and whether or not, because there was this big pressure being put on the Bank of England, which was narrowly averted, probably will return again, and that the Fed had essentially given like a life preserver to the Bank of England, but it's not doing so to the ECB. And so if